Welcome to another edition of Tea Talk, a transsexual's perspective on the world around us. Now, I'm sure if you live in South Florida, you know about the infamous 79th Street. It is infamous because it's known for transsexual prostitution. And even if you don't live in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, the South Florida area, if you've been to South Florida, you probably heard about 79th Street. Now, the transgender community deals with a great amount of discrimination, especially when it comes to employment. I mean, things have gotten better, especially in recent years, but when it comes to employment, we still deal with a high discrimination level. And because of that, many transgender women feel as if they're forced into a life of prostitution in order to survive. Now, I'm not justifying it. All I'm trying to do is connect the fact that the prostitution is perpetuated by the discrimination for employment. I got a phone call on Sunday afternoon, and I was really disturbed by what I heard. A friend of mine, Miss Nikki is her name, she called me and she told me about an incident that happened out on 79th Street. And then I called Miss Victoria, who was also involved in the incident. And basically, they both said pretty much the same story. There's no reason for them to make up a story like this. I believe them 100%. There's a club at 79th Street and 7th Avenue. It's a gay club, and most of the tranny girls have been there. I myself have been there a few times. They happened to go out, and it was actually three of them. Miss Honey, who is transgender. She works in corporate America. She goes to work Monday through Friday. Hard worker, has been with the company for a few years. Miss Nikki, who was the one that called me on Sunday afternoon, she's an extremely talented hairstylist. And Miss Veronica, who I then called to kind of get another side of the story. And she is an extremely gifted cello player. They left the club and they were headed home. And while driving down the strip, they saw a girlfriend. Now, I'm not too familiar with this girl. I think I've seen her a few times and we've said hi to each other, but I don't really know her too well. She was out on the strip. And so Miss Victoria was driving and she said, well, let me stop. I want to go say hi to her. So she pulls over. Miss Honey and Miss Victoria get out. Miss Nikki stays in the car because she was talking on her cell phone. When they got out the car and they walked over to the girl that was standing on the strip, a police car swings around. And it was, from what they tell me, a female officer, a Caucasian female officer. And then from the other side of the street, another police car swings around and they flash the light into the car where Miss Nikki was sitting on the cell phone. And what I was told is that his name is Sergeant Lorenzo, and that he was extremely nasty. He was yelling and screaming at Miss Nikki to get out the car and threatening to arrest her, and her response was, arrest me for what? I'm sitting in a car on my cell phone. And it was just a lot of back and forth. The female officer made the comment that, you know, I can't stand you people. You people are all the same. Now, I don't know what she meant by that, but that sounds a bit discriminatory if you ask me. So, I know that, you know, prostitution is against the law here in South Florida, and I guess they were doing their job. It's all relative, though. I mean, the law is all relative to where you are in the world and what the law of the land is. I mean, heck, here in this country, in the state of Nevada, prostitution is legal. In California, with a prescription, marijuana is legal. There was a time in this country when alcohol was illegal, and it is said that Grandpa Kennedy was one of the biggest bootleggers around. So it really is all relative, and of course the government decided to start taxing alcohol, and then conveniently it becomes legal. So there you go. But I just feel that there was some sort of issue with this whole scenario, because although the police were doing their job, I think it was more the way they went about it that really made me raise my eyebrows. I do want to say that, you know, there was one thing about this story that made me feel a little better. Another female officer showed up on the scenes. And from what they told me, she was a Hispanic female officer. And they said that she was extremely respectful, and she showed that she was caring, you know, caring about their situation. And just overall, she had a pleasant demeanor about her. So that made me feel a little better. At least the whole, you know, all of the police that showed up, they weren't all very disrespectful. But you know, there is a way to do your job. There's a way to go about doing your job. And I know that it must be stressful for the police officers. I mean, you know, I do want to take time out to thank the officers for the hard work that they do. They put their lives on the line to keep our community safe and orderly. So thank you very much. I mean, I can just imagine the stress that you go through on a day-to-day basis. But I just had to talk about this because, you know, we transgender people, we are citizens of America that deserve to be respected and treated with basic human rights. You know, we deserve that. In other words, we're human, everybody. And I just thought that it was important for me to at least talk about this incident, because the last time I checked, segregation ended years ago. And Officer Lorenzo made the comment to the girls that if he saw them in that area ever, you know, anymore or again, that they would be arrested for prostitution. Now, to tell a certain type of people or a certain group of people that you are not allowed in a particular area, I thought was against the law. But hey, we are talking about the police, right? And oftentimes they are, or they feel that they are above the law. So I just, you know, I thought that there was a little bit of shadiness, for lack of a better phrase, when I heard about the incident, and that maybe some of the officers involved were letting their prejudice come in to doing their job, you know, and I don't know, I felt it was important to talk about. So anyway, I'll leave you all with that. I'd appreciate any feedback, you know, on this show, and I want to wish you all love, peace, and blessings, and hugs and kisses. Let your